Hi everyone. Happy Wednesday. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me for another Wednesday night stream. If you're new, my name is Anna. I'm a fantasy writer who sometimes makes videos and sometimes we stream. So if you're here to have a little bit of cozy nighttime productivity, I'm so happy you're here. Um, and we already have some friends in the chat. Hi, Amber. Happy Wednesday. Hi, James. Hope you are all having a wonderful day. Sounds like it's going well, which is awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Getting in a little extra journaling before I go to work. That sounds lovely. Hi, Melon. Thank you for always saying hi. And Wallace, look who made it earlier than 2 minutes before the end. I'm so proud of you. And thanks so much for being here. Yeah, so let me know what you're working on tonight. Contrary to what my banner says, I am not revising tonight. I finished my revisions last month, or actually the first week of this month, I should say. Since you saw me last, I finished my revisions. That's the point. And I'm now going to be doing some beta reading tonight. I sent my book off to my critique partners, so we did our swap. And yeah, I'm just having the time of my life reading other people's work and having so much fun in their stories and taking a nice break from mine. So let me know what you're doing tonight. That's what is up with me. Hi, Moses. Thank you for joining. Hi, Devesha. Thanks for joining. Yeah, thank you. It was a really long time coming, and I took way too long. I kept saying I was going to finish at the end of March, then I was going to finish at the end of April, and we just squeaked it in. We got done around like I forget what day it was exactly, maybe like the 6th or 7th of May or something like that. Maybe it was even the 9th. I'm not totally sure. Um, yeah, thanks for bringing the troublemaker account to the chat. Um, so if y'all are new, I usually try to keep the sprints a little short and sweet and try and just keep things rolling so we can keep our momentum. We'll do like a little bit of like a stacking sprint. So it'll be like a 15, 20, 25, and then we'll do like a 10 minute cooldown sprint at the end. So it goes by quick, but I always get a ton done. And hopefully it's good for y'all too. We have an update from Amber. Amber met your May 1 done round of revisions deadline. Woo! Now finished all 33 chapters of my first round of edits, so I'm on chapter 27 of 33, my handwritten edits on a printed draft. Amber, this is fantastic progress. And I know you were working really hard on your revisions last month. Um, and this is awesome. This is so great. And what is the next step after you finish this round? Are you sending it out to critique partners or beta readers or going on sub? Like what are the vibes? I just want to look ahead with you. That's so awesome. Um, all right. Well, I will go ahead and get us into our first sprint if you guys are all ready to work. Let me see here. I have our first sprint up, our 15-minute. Everything, all the sprints tonight are from Laura's channel, Laura Nettle, so show her some love if she shows up tonight. Off to my editor after this. That's fantastic. I bet you're going to breathe a big sigh of relief. And that's so exciting. All right, well, on that note, I will go ahead and just kick us right off. So here's your first 15-minute sprint, everybody. Good luck. Great job, everyone. Did you see me jump at the thunder? That scared me. Oh my gosh. How did we do on that sprint? I got completely sucked into what I was doing. Like I said, I'm doing some beta reading for Miss Mallon. I've already read her book once, but I totally got sucked into it and read the second half like as fast as I possibly could, and just did not do a good job of like leaving comments and gathering my thoughts. So I just had to see what the twists were going to be. So I'm going back a second time to hopefully be a little more helpful. So yeah, that's how it went for me. Cool Gamer joined us. Hi, welcome. And Pam joined us doing some journaling. That is awesome. You and James doing journaling tonight makes me think that I also want to do that. I've been really bad about my journal, and I know I say that every month. But maybe one of these months I'll show up and have a journaling night with you guys. So yeah, I did ask, so just a little question for you all. Since I'm beta reading, this has kind of been top of mind. And I also, of course, sent my book to my critique partners. So I asked them some questions. And so I was kind of looking around on YouTube today for videos about like putting together your materials for beta reading, because I'm just curious how other people do it, and what other people ask. So I thought I would throw it out to you guys. What is one question you like to ask beta readers when sharing your work? And so, yeah, Wallace said, I like to rip off the band aid and really encourage my betas to be honest with me. So, a question I always ask is, at what point, if ever, would you have DNF'd or begin to lose interest? I think this is really excellent, and definitely like definitely going like ripping off the Band-Aid, like you said, like really going in for the harsh truth, but it's such an important truth at the same time. Um, and Amber agreed, it's a great question. I definitely have to use that. It'll hurt if I hear an answer, but that's a great question. And I actually asked something similar, but I think I phrase it a little more positively. So, one question that I ask my beta readers is, at what point, if ever, because maybe they don't ever, but if what point were you hooked and felt like, okay, I'm strapped in now and I'm going to read until the end of this book? So it's kind of like the opposite of this question. It's like, rather than asking at what point would you have DNF'd, it's like, at what point was the DNF no longer an option and you were invested, if that makes sense. So I think they're slightly different, but maybe maybe one's a little easier to digest. And they both point to pacing, I think, at the end of the day. So yeah, that's one thing that I really enjoy asking. um, Wallace agrees, also wanting to journal. I brought a brand new one when I turned 30 and I really want to keep up with it. That is awesome. That's a great way to celebrate turning 30, Wallace. I did a lot of journaling in my 20s. And ever since the pandemic, I have really struggled to keep up my journaling habit. I was a huge journaler. It was very easy for me to keep up with. And then in the pandemic, it suddenly wasn't, because writing about the fact that we were all locked in our houses just got really old really quick. And I just had nothing new to report except just the waiting game. And my journaling like never really recovered from that. So I haven't quite figured out how to fix that, but I really want my 30s to be recorded in the way that my 20s were. So we're working on it. We're working on it. Hi, JK. Thank you for joining. Let us know what you're working on. Moses said, I asked my beta readers if they still like me. Yeah, I know. It like, even though my critique partners and I are so close, I still have that little fear that's like, are you still going to want to be writer friends with me after I send this to you? um, it never stops being a really vulnerable thing, but you grow so much from it. I thought I would also share with you guys the other things I had in my questionnaire, just for the hell of it. Let me see if I can find this here. I'm just navigating Discord. Okay. So the other things I ask, apart from when do you feel fully hooked and invested in the story, I also ask any chapter endings where you did not feel a pull to start the next chapter. So also kind of sort of pointing to that pacing thing or like that put down instinct, um, but also helps me identify where I haven't maybe left a chapter on such an interesting note. I also ask, where were you bored? And I think it's also kind of one of those harsh questions to say, were there any parts where you were bored? To just go ahead and say, where were you bored? It's a long book, it's a long project. Any book I read, I get bored at some point. So please just tell me where that was. I also ask, what was confusing? I assume that in this big long book, something didn't come out clearly. Something about the world building needs to be better explained. Um, that is something that I ask. I ask any notes on characters, personalities, and their motives felt well defined, yes or no. Um, I ask, what did you like? AKA things I should not change. Please tell me some nice things. um, that would be wonderful. And I also asked, this is just to try and get a little bit more out of my readers. I ask, what do you think will happen in book two? And what do you want to happen in book two? Because I'm very much in the brainstorming part for book two. I have quite a lot of things that I have in mind, but I could also be swayed if my beta readers came up with something really spectacular or like they were really invested in something that I just wasn't thinking about. While I'm kind of in the idea generating phase, I'm really interested in what they might think about where the story could go next. Um, and you'll notice that like I try to keep these questions kind of broad. And I try to not ask too many leading questions, um, because I don't want to ask a question that makes them like think of something that really didn't occur to them in their reading experience. It's just because I asked that they come up with it. You know what I mean? So, like, I have a very general question. Like I said, do you have any notes on characters? Did their personalities and their motives feel well defined? That's pretty broad. If I had asked specifically, like, what do you think about Raphael? Do you think his motive to do X felt justified or something? Like, if I was really worried about that, then yes, I might ask that. But I'm going to keep it broad and just see what comes up. You know what I mean? Because I think that kind of lends more authentically to what their actual reading experience was rather than me shining a microscope on something and saying, was this an issue? And maybe then they go, oh, well, now that you say that, maybe I could see XYZ. But as a reader, maybe it didn't actually occur to them. And both are valuable, but I want to start with a broad impression before I get their specific takes on things. Um, so that's just kind of my questionnaire philosophy, I guess. um, JK asks, at what point beta readers stop reading and if they find the characters relatable and if the dialogue and whether their reactions to the problems I put them in are realistic. I like this a lot, and I really like asking about characters' reactions and whether they feel real. Um, I definitely have felt that in many, many books, traditionally published, self published, otherwise, where character reactions just felt really out of whack. And I could see the author just trying to shove the story in a certain direction. So I think that's a really good instinct to ask. And James said, it sounds like beta readers need to hug the writer before delivering their critique. Yeah. It's always appreciated, whether it's like a metaphorical hug, aka tell us something nice before you tell us something real. um, I think that's definitely appreciated. All right. Well, thanks for listening to my thoughts on questionnaires and thanks for sharing what you like to ask. I'll go ahead and pull up our second sprint. So we're going to bump it up another 5 minutes. So we're going to go up to a 20 and I'll get that pulled up and we can get going. All right. Here's our 20-minute sprint. So good luck, everyone. That is the end of our second sprint. All right, let me know how you did. Let me take our banner down. I'm good. I just went through a couple more chapters and had a grand old time. So let me see. Laura joined us, which I'm so glad because all of my timers are from Laura tonight, as usual. So thank you, Laura. I'm glad you're here. Working on a new middle grade horror. That is awesome. It's Mama Long Eyes. I don't know what this is, and I'm scared to ask. I'm I'm gonna Google it, but I'm afraid, Laura, of what I'm gonna find. Is this like a urban myth or something? Hmm. What is this? It looks like a toy. Please help me. Please help me. Um, so yeah, on that note, we were talking about beta reading. So I did ask as a follow-up, as we kind of said, beta reading can bring tough critique, but oftentimes can also bring wonderful support. So tell me something a beta reader complimented you on about your work, just in an effort to remember some of the good things with the needs work parts. Because I know for me, it can be really easy to forget that I got any good comments at all because I just laser focus on the comments that were more critique or more helping me improve. Um, and I even noticed this the past round because when I was setting up my new document and I moved all the comments that I received into that campfire um, layout and I attached all the comments to the chapters so that I was ready to go for my revision. But I didn't move over any comments that just said nice things. Like I didn't bother transferring any of the comments that were like, "Oh, this is awesome," or "I enjoyed this," or OMG or whatever. Like I just moved over the critiques. And I think over time that resulted in me having like a skewed view of how the beta reading went. And so I do actually like make an effort to go back and read all of the comments in totality just to remember that there was a balance there and that not everything was a total woof. You know what I mean? So, in an effort to remind ourselves that there were good things, that is what I asked. So, yeah, some of the things that I have got nice comments on, which really just fill me with fuzzies, are people telling me that my book felt like a warm hug. I love that so much. And I try to remember that one specifically because I set out to write a book with a cozy lean. And when people like reiterate the fact that that is what happened, I did write a book that has a cozy feel, a comforting feel that really makes me happy. So that's something that I look back on. Laura shared from my last beta reader, I found Seeds of Doubt so satisfying. I absolutely think it's ready for the query trenches. You did a solid job of telling a complete story and also setting up interest for what would be next in the Nightmare Lane series. Oh, that's so awesome, Laura. And I know I've told you this before, but I love the series name Nightmare Lane, and I remember the posters that you made for all the books and just like the Netflix vibe of it all. Great. Great, great, great. Great branding right from the start. Adam joined. Thank you for coming. No worries. Take your time. I'm sorry it's been a chaotic day. Oh, you made it up. You made up Mama Long Eyes? Oh my gosh. Okay, that makes more sense because the Google results were extremely varied and not conclusive. So that makes more sense. um, Amber said, if I can get through these next 7 pages to chapter 30, I'm going to call it a day. I've read over 30 pages today, making good progress, but I'm sleepy. That's totally reasonable. It sounds like you did make really good progress. And we will get to another sprint soon so you can accomplish that. Wallace said, battery's getting low on my computer and I want to sneak in a later afternoon swim before it gets dark. So I'm signing off here. Happy sprinting, everyone. Bye, Wallace. Yeah, happy water time. A late afternoon swim sounds so wonderful. I'm definitely having big pool envy right now to everyone who has access to a pool, because we're officially in summertime here in Atlanta. And every time I go outside on my like daily walk, I can't help but think how nice it would be if I could end it with a swim. So good for you. Go get that swim. Laura said she haunts an old decrepit optometrist. Yeah, sorry. She haunts an old decrepit optometrist practice where ghost photography was done. Oh my gosh. The MC and characters go to do a ritual to summon her and each get a wish granted. Her eyes are drooping out of their sockets slightly. Oh my gosh. That's so fantastic. I absolutely love intertwining ghost photography. That's awesome. And what kind of equipment do you need to do ghost photography? Like, I have so many questions and this is great. This is fantastic. Um, Amber said it's been so nice here in ATL, even a nice breeze the last few days. Can't wait for the pool. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't complain about the low 80s because Lord knows it's only May and it's gonna get a lot worse. But yeah, I've definitely been enjoying it before it gets too unbearable. But yeah, all right. Thank you all for sharing. I will go ahead and pull up our long sprint of the night. We're gonna bump it up one more time to 25. So Amber, you can finish up your chapters. Everyone else can finish. Well, we'll have a little cool down sprint after this, but this is your chance to make some big progress. Yeah, even your buckets, buckets. Exactly. Yeah. They use old silver-backed plates for the old-timey cameras with flash bulbs. Oh, so cool. I love the antique, like old objects of it all. Like I think that just lends to it really nicely. All right, I'm gonna get our 25 pulled up, courtesy of Laura, like I said. And I picked the Aurora Borealis timer as an homage to the was it Aurora Borealis or was it technically like a geomagnetic storm? Or are those two things the same? That we had over the US this month. And if you got to see it, I'm so jealous. Um, I did not get to see it, so I will just enjoy this timer and this pretty picture. All right. Good luck, everyone. All right, everyone, breathtaking. That was the end of our long sprint. So let me know how it went. I just got a few more chapters down, and I'm very excited. The love interests have met, and I'm loving it. And I am struggling to not say anything because it's not my book, but I am having a grand old time. Amber finished chapter 29 quickly, so I'm going to move on to chapter 30. Why not? I have some more energy all of a sudden. That's awesome. Good job. I hope you're going to relax here soon in a little bit. And our last question of the night, I asked, what's your approach as a beta reader? Do you do multiple passes? How do you like to organize your feedback? Again, I just have been thinking about this the past couple of days, and I'm always curious how other people approach this. And the more I do it, the more I learn about how others approach this. And so it's nice to not just be like in my one mode. You know what I mean? So I am very similar to what Adam said, which is unless there's a time crunch, I will structure my notes by page and break down almost every plot beat to find whether they're working or not. Gradually, the more repetitive observations will pool into a single general note. In other words, micro builds into macro. The line level becomes the bigger picture. I thought that was really well said. I definitely try to pay attention to beats specifically and pacing. And I think that kind of helps me conceptualize the book as a whole in my head because it can be hard to hold a whole book in your head and really, turn it around and consider it from all angles. And having the beats really clear in my mind really helps me to like break it down further. Um, and so I try to like get that clear in my head and then also pay attention to any threads that the writer began and make sure that they carry all the way through, and subplots and things like that, and just pay attention to how often certain things are developed. And I personally find it really fun. I love helping with developmental edits. My dream job used to be being a developmental editor before, reality and I learned about the reality of working in publishing. But I love the analytical piece of developmental editing. I find it really fun. It's like a fun puzzle. Adam also said, been puzzling over how to answer Q2 since the only legit beta reader I've had in the past 5 years is Bree when I adapted the yellow wallpaper. I know she said good things, but like you, I was retaining more concerning the problem areas she found. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, that happened to me. I think it happens to everyone where we hear the critiques more loudly than we hear the positives. So don't worry, I think it happens to everyone, and Bree's fantastic. I think just from her videos, it seems like she's so experienced. So I'm really glad you got to work together. That's fantastic. Um, we talked about this. Amber's still here, got a second wind, moved on to chapter 31. Great job. Laura said, I usually leave inline comments. Sometimes I'll do voice memos if I'm close to the person so they can hear my excitement and despair. I love this. I'll do a write up sometimes afterward as well. I'm usually the one looking out for their descriptive prose. That's really cool, Laura. I've never thought of doing voice memos, but like it makes so much sense. And I think you're totally right that hearing the person's tone in their delivery like makes such a big difference because the way that we read comments can come off very differently from how they would say it in a voice memo. Like you can hear just tone and inflection, and I just think that is such a great idea. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember that. And you are the queen of descriptive prose, so I'm sure that your critique partners really appreciate that you take the time to do this. That's fantastic because I really struggle with line level. Like I said, I really love the big picture, pacing, plot, um, and things like that. And so finding someone who does have the attention to detail and like the patience for line level help is so valuable. Like you are one in a million. Yeah, the voice memos are usually for short stories. That makes a lot of sense. I love that. Um, Great. Well, thank you all for sharing. I'm going to get us into our cool down sprint. And so we're going to continue our little tradition. So for our last sprint of the night, I always ask if you want to share a line of something that you were working on tonight, and we can shower you with some more good things, like we said. You can share a line, or you can tell me one good thing that happened to you this week or this month, and just do like a little gratitude moment. So other than that, I'll get our 10-minute sprint pulled up, and this is just to wrap up our place, tie up any loose threads, get ourselves ready for next time. And yeah, Laura said, I'm having to plot out this new middle grade, and I'm like, how do? I've forgotten how to do this. I have every faith in you. I know once you just get over the little obstacle of beginning, you're going to be like, oh, I got this. I got this. All right, so here's our cool down sprint, everybody. I hope it is good to you and good luck. One. That is the end of our cool down sprint. So, oh my gosh, it is so dark in my room now. I'm sorry about that. That's how you know we're getting to the end of the stream. So I hope that was good. I hope everybody found a nice place to end. I just kept reading a few more chapters, and actually, I'll probably even keep working on this after the stream because I am on a really good roll and just really having a great time, really enjoying myself. It's so fun to be in someone else's book and enjoying their world. And Malon's a fantastic world builder, so I'm having a ball. But yeah, for our last sprint tradition, I always ask if you would like, you can share a line from your whip or share one good thing that happened to you this week. So I always love ending on this note of positivity. So, and Emma's here. Hi, Emma. Really love these different themes for each sprint. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. And thanks for joining us. I think so. I'm going to share one good thing. One good thing that happened to me this week is I found out that my mom has been offered a new job that she's really, really excited about. And I'm so happy for her because she sounds so pumped about it. And she is retiring at the end of this year from her teaching job. She's been a elementary school teacher for 34 years. And I know she was actually pretty sad about ending her teaching career. And this job is kind of like the best case scenario because it's part-time and she would be acting as like a consultant to help train new teachers, and she's so excited about it. And it's kind of like what she's really passionate about. And I just love that her superintendent came to her and listened to all of her ideas because I think my mom is so smart. And so that's just really, really cheered me up to see her get excited about this new phase of life instead of being worried and sad about it. So, um, yeah, I just am very excited for her. Laura has shared a couple snippets with us, so let's read those. Um, okay. In terror, Jimmy looked up. There was a figure on the top step who had closed and locked the door. Miss Sundew, her face in tatters, hanging in animated strips from her seed pod skull, was grinning at him. I love the term seed pod skull. Like, that's so uncanny in a way. Like, ooh, really well done. Really well done. Adam said the nice thing that happened this week was mercy on my end of month finances. For example, I ran into my landlord at the grocery store and he covered my supply run. A little added to June rent, but that's fine. Oh, mash. Um, sorry, I just said, oh my gosh. Then one of my acquaintances randomly sent me $100. And I'm going, what? And she goes, I felt like it. Oh, well, it sounds like you have a lot of really generous people in your life. And I'm happy for that. I'm glad you have good people in your life. Laura has another snippet. So this time from chapter 1. Out of the front door of the house stepped the old woman. Her shadow loomed across the cement driveway, and her long yellow dress fluttered behind her. She had a face like a pumpkin with a deflated nose, her fluffy red hair pulled back in a huge bun. Her shifty eyes darted from house to house along the street as if searching for something. This definitely feels like the opening scene of something bad. Like, it definitely sets up that uneasy feeling, and I can't help but think, like, "Don't come to my house, lady." Like, if you were the kid peering through the window and you saw her step outside into the street, you'd be like, and close the curtains really fast. You know what I mean? Um, Good night, Amber. Thank you for coming. Laura said, "One good thing that happened this week was I got mom hugs." That's awesome, Laura. I'm glad you got mom hugs. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. I always love ending on a positive note. You all cheer me up without fail. Um, oh, she lives across the street from the main character. Yeah, exactly. I was getting that vibe. um, yeah, so as far as what is coming up on the horizon, I will hopefully be posting a video, probably not tomorrow, but Friday. I'm so close to finishing it. Um, so probably Friday. I definitely will get it up by the end of May. I'm just really going to cut it close. And I will be streaming with Malin in June as well. We're going to have a Lazy Gang stream. Let me try and remember when that was going to be. That's going to be on Sunday the 9th on Malin's channel. So if you are looking forward to another Lazy Gang stream, that's when that will be. Thank you so much for the stream. It was super fun. Thank you, Laura. The stream is always sponsored by you, Laura, because you provide all my timers. So thank you for being a part of it. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I will catch you again the last Wednesday of June. Holy crap, can't believe it's going to be June. Oh, that's insane. And we'll do another cozy evening sprint sesh together. So I hope you have a fantastic month. Good luck with all your projects, and I can't wait to catch up with you then. So thank you. Bye.